again and welcome to another episode of I Want to Talk About This Album. And today I'd like to welcome a newcomer to the channel, a band that I've never talked about before. I'm featuring them today. The band is called Rainbow. The album is called Rising. And to clear something up right from the start, this album is called Rising. It's not called Rainbow Rising, and I'm no expert on this album, believe me. Today was only the second time I'd ever heard this album in full, so I had to take notes. But, and it's one of these albums like, and the only one I can think of that's like this, although there must be more, is Kiss Alive, in that we attached the band name to the album title. Nobody ever says Alive or Rising. Everybody always says Kiss Alive and Rainbow Rising. Unless it's already established what band you're talking about. What's your favorite Kiss album? Oh, Alive. What's the greatest Rainbow album cover? Rising. All right. But if you're just talking generally, what's your favorite album? Oh, Rainbow Rising. I don't know why, but that's what we do. So that's one small thing out of the way right from the start. The other thing is I'll tell you how I got this album, and it's not interesting, but I will tell you nonetheless. I got this, for me, it was last week. I went to El Chopo, my most recent video from El Chopo, I got it there. And it's kind of funny how I got it. Actually, it's not funny at all. It's not funny nor interesting, yet I will tell you how I got it. So I was in one of the stalls, a good one. I bought 5 records from this guy to be featured in upcoming episodes. And he had several crates or boxes. There were 2 here, a couple over here. So I was looking at, there were 2 beside each other like this. I was looking beside the one on the left. You know, you go like this as you're flipping through them. And a guy beside me was flipping through them. And a lot of people bought records at that stand because this guy's prices were very reasonable. Unlike some of the other people at El Chopo that have ridiculous prices, which you've heard me talk about many times. So, you know, I think typically, as I would guess most people do, I do it. As you're flipping through, you know you're going to flip through the other one. So to save time, if somebody else is flipping through, you're flipping through looking at yours, but you're also watching that one to save yourself time. It's not nefarious I'm not being like a bad guy. It's not like you're spying, but you're just saving time. So as I'm looking through, this guy was going like this, and I said, oh wow, Rainbow Rising. See, I just did it, Rainbow Rising. And that's been on my, I don't have an official list, but in my mind there are some records that I would like to get that if I saw them for a good price, I would get them. And Rising is one of them. So I saw this guy and he's flipping through like this, flipping through, and he got to Rising and he stopped, and I thought, oh, I want to buy that. Or I would at least ask how much it was. And so he stopped on that. I thought, no, keep going, flip to the next one. And then he picked it up and I was going, fuck you, that album sucks, don't buy it. And he picked it up and he turned it around. I was going, fuck off. In my head, I'm saying that. And this is so stupid. So I thought, he's going to put it back. And then he picked it up and he put it under his arm like this while he kept flipping like this. And he picked a couple more up. I thought, fuck, I'm not going to get it. And I thought, well, maybe he won't buy it. And so as I continued flipping, I kind of kept an eye on him, what he was doing. And he walked around the stand a little bit, and he went to pay, and he had a bunch of records. He had 4 or 5, or I don't know how many he had. And he took a couple out from his pile that he had, and he put them down, and one was Rising. And I waited what I thought was a fair amount of time to grab it, because I thought maybe he's just putting it down to take his wallet out or something. And I thought, no, he doesn't want it. So he put it down, and I waited an appropriate amount of time. I took it, and I asked how much it was, and I think it was 200 pesos, around $10 US. I thought, yeah, that's okay, that's fair. For a used album, that's okay. So that's how I got Rising by the band called Rainbow. All right, now, since I've never talked about Rainbow, I will talk about them now. And I will also show the record. There it is that I bought. This is a Mexican version, and the cover is very, very busy. I guess typically it's just going to have Rainbow, the band, and Rising, the title. This has a lot of superfluous stuff on it. Strangely, it says grabado in Alemania. It was recorded in Germany. That's a strange thing to advertise on the front of an album or anywhere. I mean, aside from in the liner notes. Like, I guess this is meant to be a selling point that it was recorded in Germany. It's supposed to be good. and then it's got the serial number there and tells you that it was recorded in stereo or estereo. Then it's got Oyster. I don't know what Oyster is, and some more numbers down there. And it's got Polygram there and Polydor there. And also, strangely, the band members' names there. I don't know why it has that, but it does, because I know the I guess in non-Mexican pressings, we in the vinyl community like to say pressings, not versions. In other pressings, it doesn't have it. It just has Rainbow and Rising. That's it. So there it is. And there's the back. And it does have, because it is a Mexican pressing, it does have the album, the song titles in Spanish, which I will recite shortly. So that's oh yeah. So my history with Rainbow, they're a band that kind of passed me by. I was never a Deep Purple fan ever. I've never bought one Deep Purple album in any format. I've never bought it on record, on CD, on 8-track, on cassette, on Laserdisc, on anything. I've never bought Deep Purple. I've never seen... Did I see them live? They were playing at a festival in Mexico City a couple of years ago. It was 2 days. I had tickets to both days. I sold my ticket to the second day to go to see Cadaver instead. I did see Deep Purple. I watched the first few songs. Yeah, it was Judas Priest. No, who was headlining that? Yeah, it was Deep Purple and Judas Priest headlining that night, and I watched a little bit of Deep Purple, and then I left. Didn't see Judas Priest. I will be seeing Judas Priest in my time. I'm seeing Judas Priest this week, but I think by the time this comes up, it will be after I've seen Judas Priest. So there may be a Judas Priest merch video. So yeah, so I was never into Deep Purple, so this, Rainbow just wasn't really on my radar. And Dio, I like Dio. The band Dio, featuring the guy called Ronnie James Dio. I liked them, but I was never a big fan. I think I only ever bought, at least at the time, I think I didn't even have The Last in Line, or I can't remember. But so Rainbow was never in my musical realm, or as I said, in my radar. None of my friends were into Rainbow. Actually, I think one of my friends, Pete, I think he was a big Rainbow fan. I'm not sure. I remember he liked Long Live Rock and Roll. I don't know if he liked this or not. I'm sure he liked it. So yeah, Rainbow just, and they were not a radio band. They didn't have any hits that were on the radio. I always knew that this was a very beloved record, Rising, and there's one song on it that I knew for many years, for decades, a song that everybody raved about. It's Stargazer, you know what it is. And I knew this was considered one of the great metal songs, and I didn't hear that Stargazer until, believe it or not, 10 years, maybe 12 years ago, something like that. And I have a lot to say when I get to the track by track. I have a lot to say about Stargazer. Well, I won't say too much now, but I will feature Stargazer. So that was what because I thought, you know what, I want to listen to Stargazer. This was, like I said, 10 or 12 years ago. Yeah, maybe 12 or 13 years ago. So I did download this record. I listened to it once. Rising, I listened to the whole record once. A long time ago, 12, 13 years ago. Didn't really catch my attention. And I'll talk about that, I guess, when I'll talk about that now. I didn't love this album when I listened to it these 12 or 13 years ago. It's hard to live up to expectations when something is so classic and you've heard about it for so long, and it's considered a classic by the general population, music fans, whatever, and then you actually hear it. And this also goes, you could say, for movies, films. Some people call them films. It's hard to watch something many years, decades after it's been out, and knowing how good people think it is. It's hard. Usually I think your expectations are unrealistic. And I think mine were with Rising. I'd heard about this album for years or decades. Everybody loves it. It's one of the greatest metal albums ever. And then when I listened to it, it's almost you're setting yourself up for disappointment. It's impossible almost to live up to those expectations. I'll talk about that further when I talk about Stargazer. I've never seen Casablanca. I've never seen Gone with the Wind. I've never seen Streetcar Named Desire. I don't think I've ever seen that. All these great movies from the 50s and 40s that are considered to be some of the greatest movies ever. I feel at this point in my life, what do I have to gain by watching any of those? I'm just not going to like those. And so Rising was kind of like that. But I saw it for a good price. I thought, yeah, I'm gonna try it again. I'd like to have the record. So now I listened to it today twice, as I always do when it's a new record. I think just about any record, I listened to it when I was out exercising, and then I sat down and listened to it and took notes. I do like it. Sometimes you just need the timing to be right. I still don't. I think it's impossible for me to ever consider it a classic. Listening to it now at my age, at this point in time, it's been out for almost 50 years. But I do like it more than I remember liking it when I listened to it 12 or 13 years ago. Especially one song, two, maybe three songs, which I will get to in the track by track. Now, something about this record, I've complained maybe many times about how albums are so long. And modern albums, especially in the CD era, albums are just way too long. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Metallica, they put out records that are 70 plus minutes and they're just too long, and I've mentioned so many times. And by the way, I try to find a balance when I talk about things. You may think, this guy always says the same thing. Yeah, sometimes I do, but I also have to consider that there are new people. Believe it or not, sometimes new people do watch my videos. And I have to balance between not being too repetitive, but also giving information that maybe newcomers have not heard. So I've talked many times about albums being too long, and all the great albums, modern albums, and all the great albums, the classic albums. The Beatles, Kiss, Van Halen, their records were like 32, 35 minutes around there. All the great Black Sabbath and AC/DC albums were 40, I think, to 38 to maybe 44 minutes, somewhere around there. And that's as good as it gets when you're talking about music. When bands could put out one record, when they were limited to pretty much maximum of 50 minutes, they could focus on what was good. Now this album is maybe a little bit too short. It's 33 minutes, and by the way, something I noticed on my music player on my phone that I've had for many years, I think since 2016 I've used it, 9 years. The app that I use is called Power Amp. Far better than any, and I used a lot of apps before I settled on this one. I had to pay for it too. I think the only app I've ever paid for. I've talked before, I'm getting off topic here, about how long albums are, and I sometimes kind of can guess how long they are based on how long I exercise. But I found, I don't know if it's on maybe the most recent update of my app now, it shows the full running time of the album. I've only noticed that in the last week or so. So this album is 30, I think I wrote it down here, 33 minutes and 12 seconds, and it's only 6 songs. That's short. 6 songs and 40 minutes, that's okay. Or 10 songs and 33 minutes, that's okay. I don't know why. But the combination of a short running time, 33 minutes, and a few, just a pretty small number of songs, 6, it's a little bit short. That's what I think about that. But overall, I like this record. It's, again, I'm not going to say it's not a classic for me, but I do understand its place in history. And also for me, this really sounds like a Dio album. I think Dio's, his voice obviously, and his lyrics. So obviously when I listen to this, and there are a couple of songs especially that are very Dio-esque lyrics, and which followed him into Black Sabbath, and then of course solo. But I think musically too, I can hear now that I've heard Rising, I can hear Dio's solo music, that he took a lot of that stuff from Rainbow, even though, as far as I know, he didn't write anything with Rainbow musically other than the lyrics. All right? So there it is. Now, you've been waiting for it. I'm going to read the song titles in Spanish. All right? So the first song, and then I'll do the track by track. The first song is called La Dama del Tarot. So this is Tarot Woman. Next song is La Carrera con el Lobo, Run with the Wolf. Deslumbrado is Starstruck. Cierres tus ojos is Do You Close Your Eyes? And then side B is Astronomo, Stargazer. Next is Una Luz en la Obscuridad. Oh, only 2 songs, yeah. A Light, which is A Light in the Black. And yeah, these 2 songs, the last 2 songs on side B are 828. Stargazer is 828, and A Light in the Black, Una Luz en la Obscuridad, is 812. And then the first Tarot Woman is 611. Why am I saying how long the songs are? Run with the Wolf, 348. Starstruck, 406. Do You Close Your Eyes, 258. Those are normal length songs. And then they put the 2 longer epic songs on side 2. So there it is. So, and it's just a regular Polydor record. I just did the Who by Numbers, and then had the same Polydor label. I think that was the last episode I did. All right. So I will put this here, and I will go through the track by track. So as mentioned, the first song is called Tarot Woman. And it's got as you know, if you know this album, it's got a very lengthy synthesizer intro. This song, now there were 3 songs on this album. This is one: Tarot Woman, Stargazer, and A Light in the Black. Those were covered by Metallica. Well, they did like a medley of those plus Kill the King. It was those 4 songs. Metallica did a medley of those, and so I'm much more familiar with these songs because of Metallica than I am because of Rainbow. And I thought Metallica's medley was fantastic. So Tarot Woman, it's got this long synthesizer intro. I love it. I think it's an excellent song. Next is Run with the Wolf. This to me sounded like what would later become a Dio solo song. It's kind of plotting. It's got that. And also Jimmy Bain was in Rainbow and Jimmy Bain was in Dio, so maybe that's part of it too. It's kind of plotting, very, very Dio lyrics. Even the song title, Run with the Wolf. This really sounds like a Dio, from 1983, 84, 85. Somewhere, Last in Line, Holy Diver, Sacred Heart, something along those lines. It's okay, that one. Next is Starstruck. Now, first, 2 songs with Star in the title. Is this amateur hour, as Kramer would say? Starstruck, kind of weird for Dio to sing lyrics like this. It's about, I guess, a woman who and I can't remember the lyrics. I didn't write it down. There's something about, I guess it's the woman who wants a picture with him, something like that, for a souvenir. I don't know. The song was okay. It's kind of a bouncy, hard rock song. Next is Do You Close Your Eyes? Now, this one, I was shocked when I heard Dio sing Do You Close Your Eyes? Do you close your eyes when you're making love? I thought, what the fuck? Dio is singing about, making love and close. It sounds like a Dawkins song or something, or a Def Leppard or something. I thought, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is Dio singing Do You Close Your Eyes when you're making love? And then it got even worse. He ended it. He sang the next line as Do you close your eyes when you're making love? Making sweet love to me. Oh my God, Dio, what were you thinking? Holy shit, that's shocking that Dio is singing Do You Close Your Eyes when you make sweet love to me. Unbelievable. And I've never heard anybody, that seems like the kind of thing that would in, heavy metal internet lore would become very famous. It would become a meme. Like, I don't know, I painted myself into a corner. What's a song that everybody makes fun of whenever that song comes up? I don't know, but I feel like it should be one of those. But I had never heard anybody ever make fun of Dio. Maybe Dio is kind of untouchable. I think it was very rare, or I think it is very rare for Dio to be criticized in any way, at least by fans. I think musicians, he wasn't apparently the easiest guy to work with. Very, very nice guy to fans, but kind of a difficult guy to work with. Nonetheless, I do think Do You Close Your Eyes is a great song. I think my second favorite on the album. All right. Next is my favorite on the album, Stargazer. Now, I have a lot to say about this one. So this was one similar to the album. I knew that this album was a classic heavy metal album, and I know, unlike Do You Close Your Eyes when you're making sweet love to me, This is one that everybody always talks about. Stargazer, oh my God, Stargazer, best song ever. And it's like the heavy metal Stairway to Heaven, although you could say, hey, Stairway to Heaven is the heavy metal Stairway to Heaven. And I had never heard of it, as I said. And about, again, 12 or 13 years ago, I thought I'm gonna listen to this song. And I downloaded it and I listened to it. And I loved it. Unlike, as I mentioned also, about expectations for this album, I can't really love this album like everybody else does because I'm just kind of hearing it for the first time. Well, 2 times today and once 12 or 13 years ago. This Stargazer, I was aware of its reputation. And immediately when I listened to it, I thought, yes, this deserves every bit of the accolades that it gets. Stargazer is fucking awesome. I think it should be considered one of the great, and I think the great songs should be, the songs are considered great, should be kind of long. They should have some kind of epic feel to them. Stairway to Heaven is, going back to that one, is a good example of that. And you could say Won't Get Fooled Again or whatever else. So I love Stargazer right from the start. And so to go through it, to dissect a little bit, everybody now, well, I mean, I guess they've talked about it for decades, but in my world, it's relatively new. The great, maybe, and I couldn't argue, if somebody says it's the greatest drum intro ever, the greatest drum fill, you can think of, the other 2 that come to mind are Where Eagles Dare, first song from Peace of Mind, Iron Maiden, and Over the Mountain, the first song on Diarrhea of a Madman. I think this is, I'm not ranking them in terms of talent or which one is better, but just in terms of what you would go, oh, holy shit, that sounds fucking awesome. Stargazer, the drum intro is incredible. Now, about the drum intro, I think the fact that it then goes into a great song makes it even better. If the song sucked, or if this was just like a 2-minute song or something, maybe that drum intro would get lost. But because it's the introduction to such a great song, it really catches your attention. That's what I think. Now, in addition to the drum intro, at the same time, it's got, is it the longest pick scrape or pick slide in the history of music? And that, the pick scrape combined with the drum intro happening at the same time, oh my God. Fucking awesome. What else can and I just thought of another song. Going back, one of these meme songs that everybody makes fun of. Brandon, My Motley Crue. I don't know if I can think of another one, but that's one that everybody makes fun of. And I've never heard anybody make fun of Do You Close Your Eyes When You Make Sweet Love to Me? Coming from Dio. Come on. So getting back to Stargazer. Now, I love this song, but I did take notes on it just because I wanted to make sure to get everything. This, again, to me is a total, just like Run with the Wolf, total Dio lyrics. This could have easily been some years later on Last in Line or Holy Diver or something like that. Oh, my dog is unhappy. Oh, I see why. There's some dogs walking past my house. And lyrically too, High Noon, no, I sell my soul for water. 9 years worth of breaking my back. There's no sun in the shadow of the wizard. See how he glides, why he's lighter than air. Oh, I see his face. Where does it go? Very, I can totally picture Dio solo singing that song. This song, Stargazer. And this is, I would say this is a long one. This is, how long is it? I don't know how long it is. I said it earlier, 8:12, is that what Stargazer was? 8:28. This is, it's a perfect song, and there are hundreds of perfect songs, maybe thousands of perfect songs. This one I would say is more perfect than almost all those. This is everything, every single thing about this song. That drum intro, the pick slide, it's very dramatic. Dio's vocals, musically, that long, not just the guitar solo, but the solo with the music that's backing it. I love Dio's, at the last, 2 minutes of the song or whatever, the outro where Dio is kind of, I don't know if they're ad-libs, but I see a rainbow rising, and all those, we built a tower of stone. Perfect song. I even love, I've talked before about keyboards. And keyboards for me are love-hate. Sometimes I know there are some people, especially metal fans, who just poo-poo keyboards at all, any keyboards. I don't. Sometimes keyboards are great. I love Faith No More is one of my favorite bands ever, and they have keyboards all over their records. And I mean, I could give you many, many examples of keyboards sounding really, really cool. This is one of them, I think, especially during the, I guess it's the chorus, in the heat and the rain with the whips and chains. Dun, 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 dun. That totally suits that song. I can't imagine this song without those keyboards. And there's a very fine line between keyboards. Same with Rainbow in the Dark. I love the keyboards in Rainbow in the Dark. But on Kiss Crazy Nights, all the keyboards in there, I hate them. So I don't know if I can explain why. I could kind of explain why, but I'm not going to now. So yeah, Stargazer, fucking perfect song. Nothing. It's 8 minutes and 28. 8 minutes and 28 seconds of perfection. And I love it. Like, seriously, it's one of the great songs ever recorded, I think. Did I get everything that I wanted to say about Stargazer? Yeah, I think that's all about Stargazer. Love it. And my dog, oh, there's another dog outside. Oh, a little chihuahua. That thing is about the size of my hand. And then the last song, all of a sudden we're at the last song. It's the 6th track, second song on side 2. It's called The Light in the Black. This, and by the way, Metallica did also include Stargazer in the medley of Ronnie James Dio songs for that Dio tribute album. I think it's called This Was Your Life. I think that's what it's called. Not That Was Just Your Life. That's a Metallica song. And Stargazer, almost any cover that Metallica does, like really this is one exception, but Metallica covers, including not including Motorhead, including even Black Sabbath when they covered National Acrobat. Metallica covers are almost always better than the original. For me, I shouldn't say better. I much prefer them. This is one that I love the Rainbow version better than the Metallica version. Oh yeah, so A Light in the Black, Metallica also includes that in their medley of Dio or Rainbow songs. A little bit thrashy, this song. Maybe I just have that in my mind because it's, I'm more familiar with Metallica doing it. But yeah, Light in the Black has has that kind of like a real kind of I think a thrashy riff. Also, it has a very, very similar drum intro to Stargazer, almost exactly the same, at least for a second and a half, 2 seconds. When I first heard it today, when Stargazer ended, and then I heard the drums, I thought, oh, is it repeating? Did I have my player on repeat or something? But no, it's just the same drum intro. Cozy Powell, that is. The main riff in this song during the verses, and I know I'm doing this backwards because Rainbow, Rising, I did it again. Rising came out in 1976. Totally, the riff, the main riff in A Light in the Black, totally reminded me of All the Aces by Motorhead, which is on Bomber, which came out in 1980. So I know that Bomber came out first, so I should be saying Bomber or All the Aces reminds me of A Light in the Black. But since I'm much more familiar and for much longer with Motorhead All the Aces than I am with A Light in the Black by Rainbow, I'll go backwards. I thought, wow, it took me a second. What does this sound like? What does this sound like? I had to pause it and then kind of play. And I thought, yeah, it's All the Aces. And I love All the Aces. The only thing I know is playing rock and roll. I'm not going to do Motorhead. And it's long too, as I said, 8:12. And the solo in this song, I guess it's there are several solos. I guess the first part was like a keyboard solo. I don't know if it's synthesizer. I guess it's not a synthesizer. But there was a keyboard solo, which got my attention. I'm not good or bad. It just, I thought, oh, that's a strange sound. And it was keyboard, and then it goes into a guitar solo. And that's an excellent song, too. A Light in the Black is very good. So that's it. That's the 6 little songs from Rising by Rainbow, or Rainbow Rising if you prefer. And yeah, I like this album more than I did when I listened to it 12 or 13 years ago. Not quite a classic for me, but oh my God, Stargazer alone is worth, people would say worth the price of admission, I think. I love it. I think I'm going to go listen to it again as like in a few seconds after I finish this video. All right. So that is it. I'm this much of a Rainbow fan, and that is thanks to this album called Rising.